Hey, hey, good day, everyone. It is January 17th, 3 o'clock my time. I know that might mean a little bit different on your time, but the right time is now because we're talking mules and donkeys. My name's Dave. This is Steve. Every week we get together to talk a little bit mule and donkey, and this here third week of January is no. Whoa, what's that right there? What was that? Was that come along coffee?
Of course.
That
It's 70 degrees out there. I had to put my Hawaii shirt on, and get a cup of coffee because I think I'll get my Speedo and go out to get a little sun.
Well, before you do that, let's talk mules and donkeys for about 60 minutes.
Okay.
I think it might be less distracting you talking mules and donkey here and now with your Hawaiian shirt on than you in a Speedo, but that could just be me, folks. Like I said, my name's Dave. This is Steve. Every week we get together to talk mules and donkeys, and we're so glad that you're here today, spending a few minutes with us. The way this works is very simple. You come, bring your questions, ask those questions. We'll give you answers. You get out there, start trying those answers. If it works, come back and let us know. If it doesn't work, come back and let us know, and we'll help you along. We may need to get some pictures from you. We may need to get some videos from you. We may need some more details, but we will get you the answers that you need so you can go out there and get results. Steve, how has the week been since last?
Well, we've been getting lots of rain. I've got a couple of my buddies from Colorado. Matter of fact, one of them just retired in the fire department up there, and the other one's still got 3 years left, but they're here hunting, chasing the little javelinis around and the Cow's whitetails, which they're out there doing right now. And I'm not doing that much. I got this sciatic nerve in my right hip here, where my vertebrae is not doing the best in the world. Yep, that was back pre-helmets and pre-stupidity. Anyway, trying to keep you all from those broken bones is what we're here for, right, Dave?
Yeah, and I wanted to run something past you real quick. Do you have anything on the
I see the
agenda
Bible.
for like June 2nd through the 4th? Anything? Are you busy yet?
Yeah, yeah, yep.
Oh man. Well, what is it that you're doing?
Going to Montana to have a mule and donkey program.
Okay, all right. Well, I guess that's a good enough excuse. Montana, June 2nd through the 4th. How about that? What are we doing in Montana this year? What are folks got in store?
Oh man, I tell you, last year we had people that had a variety. We had donkeys, we had mules, and this sort of thing. We had some hunters, and they were all great. And this friend of mine has gone from Minnesota farming, and always had wanted to get back to Montana, and now he's here, and he's got a nice place. He's got places to ride and this sort of thing, and that's what we're trying to introduce y'all to. Anyway, it's going to be a good clinic. We're going to be Friday and Saturday doing the main part of it, and it's I think what I call it. Did you listen to your mule and donkey?
Yeah, I think it's are you listening to your mule and donkey?
There you go.
Something like that there. It's going to
I
be
have
real
to go to
good
that
because the donkeys are
website.
talking. The mules, they're telling you something.
Oh yeah, all the time.
What's crazy, Sherman Johnson's here. Hello, Sherman Johnson. And folks, if you are just jumping on, go ahead, share your name, where you're watching from, what the weather's like. We'd like to say hello to you. For folks who watch this regularly, like you, Sherman, you know that sometimes all Steve has to do is hear what the mule is doing, and he knows exactly what that mule or what that donkey is trying to say. And that's what happens when you get lots of experience. You make lots of mistakes. You learn from lots of good folks. You work your way through problems. Eventually, it gets to the point where you don't need to see it. All you need to do is hear it, and you know pretty much what's going on. I'm no slick dude when it comes to mules and donkeys, but when it comes to the technology, for me, all I need to do is hear what somebody is doing, and I can say, go here, click this, download that, install this, click over here, you're looking for this, and I don't even need to see it on the screen. I've done it so many times. so many of us, we have those things where it's just a second nature to us. We don't need to see it in order to know what next steps need to happen. And that's what you're going to get when you go to Montana. That's what you're going to get is you're going to get the inside scoop on what your mule or your donkey has been trying to tell you over the last, I don't know, week, month, year, maybe the last 10 years. And then finally going to get those answers. And Mr. Donkey's going to be like, hey, all right. Took a few years, took a decade, but man, you're finally listening and it feels good. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I put a link in the comments section. Y'all can get information about that event. There's 2 types of tickets. There's a participant ticket, and that is exactly what it sounds like. You and your mule or your donkey, you come and you get hands-on work with Steve himself. He's going to use your mule. He's going to use your donkey to solve your problems, and everybody else who's there as a spectator, and that's the second type of ticket, is going to be able to see things happen, results happen in real time, and then be able to take what they learned back. But if you're a participant, your questions, your animal is what we demonstrate on. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Be sure to look at your calendar. We're giving you enough notice to hopefully give you enough time to make the arrangements so we can see you up there. That'd be great. And you know what? Matter of fact, we're seeing someone right now who's going to be there, and that is Mr. David Scholl clocking in from Australia. We've gone international. He says, can't wait to see you in Superior, Montana. So David Scholl's going to be there. David Pengelly's going to be there too. Mr. Come Along Coffee.
Yeah, that's what he told me. You know,
Coffee by David.
Yeah. He's going to fly though. He was going to take his 32 coupe, but he couldn't get enough coffee in it. So he's going to take and probably one of his Learjets. He'll probably just bring one of those.
Whoa. All right. Well, that's going to be awesome. So the way this works, folks, is, as I already said, put your name, where you're watching from, what the weather is like. We've got Sherman Johnson, Norman, Oklahoma, 68 degrees and a chance of rain. We've got David O'Brien, East Texas, 74 degrees and night. We got David Scholl. Hello from Australia. Can't wait to see you in Superior. We got David Pengelly says we will be there. These gentlemen right here are doing a great job of setting an example of how you can get involved in this program. Share your name, where you're watching from, and what the weather's like. We would love to say hello to you. We'd love to know that you're spending a little bit of time with us. In this world where we are so disconnected, this is one way to use technology to connect us, and we don't want you to be anonymous. We want you to be seen, we want you to be known, and we want to say hello to you. So share that. The second thing that we ask, and please go ahead and do this right now, is ask any and every mule or donkey question that you got. If you are thinking it, somebody else is thinking it, whether they're on the live stream right now or whether they're watching this in the future. And if that is the case, hello from the past. We are so glad that you're here hanging out with us. Ask that question so we can get you the answer, but more importantly, that answer will be available for the person who needs it down the road. They can just search, they'll find it, they'll get the information they need, they can get out there and get results. So put your questions, any and every question, in the comment section. That'd be great. And then the third thing that we ask is that you share the broadcast. Y'all are fantastic with this. The show continues to grow. We have, about 100 viewers total every single episode live, but we get hundreds, if not thousands, of viewers on the episodes after they run. And so please share that broadcast. On YouTube, you click the share button, or you click the like and subscribe button. On Facebook, you click that share button or just tag a friend or family member. I want to say hello to Cowboy Ken watching 34 degrees with rain showers. Butch and Naomi are watching in Kennewick, Washington, partly sunny, 41 degrees. Here for our new mule, Roscoe. Hey, all right. Well, let's give there we go, glockenspiel for Roscoe. Ryan and Linda are watching from northern Maine, where it is 30 degrees. And I hope y'all are staying warm. Let's see. First question for today. This one comes from Sky. Sky says, I live in College Station, Texas. My stud was boarding at a facility and his gate wasn't closed properly and he got out with a donkey. Long story short, we have a beautiful 1-year-old Hinny That is the result. I am buying her from the donkey owner because she is no longer able to keep her. I have experience with horses and training horses, but I know nothing about mules or donkeys. I want to get her trained because I know a green trainer and green animal is not an idea fit. Do you have any trainers you recommend in South Texas? I've really been enjoying your videos on YouTube. Thank you. So first, Sky, we don't really have a whole lot of recommendations. If Steve knows someone, he's going to share that with you. But for the most part, we maintain the position that really anyone can make this happen. Steve, what would you say to Sky in the situation she's finding herself in?
Well, Sky, congratulations on on a whole new way of life. Matter of fact, do it yourself, Sky. Do it yourself, folks. You know, when you look online at these trainers that are using horse techniques, nylon halters, improperly adjusted halters, saddles in the wrong place, no breeching, no breast collars, and here's the problem: everybody wants to see them rode. Road is not the ticket. Just because you can ride them, well, it's no big deal. What about picking up their feet? What about catching them? Do all this yourself. Just especially for your baby, get your come along rope out, get your ground communication kit, and start doing your groundwork, picking up all the feet. They don't need much, and then eventually you're going to get a sursingle and do all your sursingle work. And by the time this mule's 3, ready to ride it yourself. Just do it yourself. I got a video, Dave, of 5 different people on the it's called colt starting basics. And there's 5 people. They've never started a colt before, and watch each one of them start and ride these colts on their own. It's not for rocket scientists, folks. Yeah, you know it's not all the trainer's fault either, because here's the problem: the people who own the mules don't always have much knowledge, and then the trainer itself, he's got some basic knowledge, but not of that mule. So do it yourself. Very few people, even the so-called mule trainers that I see out there, some of the clinicians, just look at how they put a halter on, and that should be your first. No, we're not going there.
Yep, there you go. Next question. This one comes in from Howard. I have a 10-year-old mare mule that I just bought. I bought as a project and started working with her on the ground. She will let you pet her when feeding sometimes, but she is super flighty. I started groundwork with her today, and I got her to where I can stop her, and she faces off well. The problem is that she will not let you approach very much before she moves off. She pays attention to you, gives an ear, eyes, and is even licking her lips some, but she is scared and jumpy. Any suggestions? I put a bunch of pressure on her today when she would move off, and it seemed to make her a bit more scared. Just don't want to create another problem to fix. Now, that's a great point right there at the end, wanting to be weary of creating a new problem, having to fix it, because that's one thing we talked about. You may think that you fixed a problem, but in the process, you created 1, 2, maybe even 3 or 4 more problems that's not going to show up for 6 or 12 months down the road. So that's good insight right there. Steve, what would you say to Howard for this problem?
Okay, so Howard, here's the deal with these animals. When one runs away from you, that mule's been taught to run away from you because people use horse techniques. What's the word you said? Turns and faces me. No, 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 no. You don't want that mule turn and face you. You want that, because see, that mule now says, okay, we're going to do this on my terms. I can see you with my right eye and my left eye because I'm facing you. No, no, no. When you start one out, always start to the right or to the left. Now, when I say to the right or to the left, I go clockwise, that goes to the right. I go to the left, I go counterclockwise. Now, what I usually do is start on the off side, which is the right-hand side, and I start the mule going around. And I watch the mule, and when it comes time that he's dropping his head at a particular place in the round pen, he says, I'm happy with what's going on starting right here. And you'll watch him. That's the key, folks. Licking lips is one thing. Dropping the head in submission and licking lips, there's what you look for. So he's going around. He's going around. and you see him drop his head in the same place 2 times. Stop to the nose, step to the nose, then come back to the shoulder and approach the shoulder. You see, that's what horse people do. They approach the nose. Here's the problem with the nose. It says 3 things. Go right, go left, and back up. And the last thing, actually the 4th thing, stop. And here's the thing. When this mule's looking at you, he's saying, invitation's on, come see me. When he turns his head away, comes back to center, invitation's off, we're closed. But see, you keep on going because you're wanting to catch your mule. And this mule's saying, I'm not really trusting you, and I think you better just wait right there. And he looks at you again, and you're still coming, and you look to the right. The mule looks to the right. Yet you're still coming. So you said to that mule, run off to the right, because you kept going. If you would have stopped, step to the right just a little bit. Okay? No, stop. He's going counterclockwise, so you're on the offside. So stop and turn to the left just a little bit. Then the mule's going to turn and look at you. Like, why did you move? And then once he's looking at you, start at the shoulder again. If he turns his head back to the center, this is number 2. I'll go ahead and allow that. I'll step a little bit to the left. The mule will turn his head and look at me, see why I moved. I'll start walking to him. If he puts his head back to the center, I'll run him off. Listen, folks, when you do things 3, 6, 9, 12 times, now it's a foundation. So I'm not going to start it on my first 3. If my first 2 are the way I like it, and the third one he goes the way he likes it, I'm going to run him off. And that's okay, because see, that's no different than a lead mare would do. She would run him off. Matter of fact, she'd probably bite him and kick him too. Start all over again. Now, if you can already get the rope halter on that animal, don't even waste your time. I mean, come along rope. Don't even waste your time doing round pin work. Round pin work, my number 1 thing that I use it for is to have one that's hard to catch. But then you got to spend a lot of time thinking about how to do that. But if you can get the come along hitch on him and use that for the next 6 months, everywhere you go into the corral to get the mule, put the come along hitch on, take him over. Get that mule to where he can learn to stand still without being tied. That should be your ultimate goal. It's called ground time.
All right, very good. Thanks for that. Next question. This one comes in from LCM Allison over on YouTube. How do I help a mule's stomach to be able to handle 4 seasons grazing in the backcountry without supplemental feed? Would I pace my journey and seasonal elevation to allow stomach to naturally adjust? I live in Montana and I want to take a year-long fishing trip with some mules. That sounds like a lot of fun. Steve, what would you say there to our friend?
Yeah, well, here's the thing, folks. We got to remember this. Grass is not grass. What I mean by that is this. Just because they can eat your grass at, say, 2,500 feet, and then you go up into 8,000 foot in the mountains, and there's grass there, that's a different type of grass than what they just ate. It is very next to impossible to get their track going. So you want to take some feed along so you can slowly change them out from your feed that you feed every day, your hay cubes, whatever pellets that you're feeding, this sort of thing, and then switch them off little by little. Now, so this is going to take some ground tie work on a back foot. Let them have 10, 15 minutes of feeding, and then tie them back to a high line again and feed them regular feed. Every mule is going to be a little bit different. Some of them are going to have a little bit sensitive stomach. Others of them are not. Have yourself ready. Be ready. Be ready. You're going that long on a trip, take your Banamine. Get your Banamine. And if you can learn how to do it AI directly into that vein. Oh, man. That right there is great. Now, you can do IM, intermuscular, and you can do it right there in the neck, right about 4 inches from the shoulder, and about 4 inches down from the top of the neck, and give Banamine, intermuscular. But take Banamine with you. Folks, when you go on these roads, trips, take Banamine with you. Go to your doctor, go to your vet. I got my vet, he gives me, I order 50 cc bottles at a time and 18 gauge needles. That's exactly what I use. Get yourself a thermometer so you can test his temperature in his rear end. And also, if you can, well, I used to use an old pop bottle. I used to use oil and pour it down them, but that was years ago, and you don't want to haul that around. But your Banamine is going to be your best thing to do. And slowly but surely, feed a little bit at a time. And there's no rhyme or reason to do it like this. But just remember, these mules are a little bit different. And yes, they will colic. And yes, they will do the same things as a horse will. They will, okay? So, just be careful how you feed them. Feed them. I always hobble a back leg. That way they don't get too many rope burns. But do all your homework at home before you go on a fishing trip. And boy, that sounds like a great deal. I'm looking forward to pictures and some information on your fishing trip.
That's awesome. Let's hop back over on to just see who's hanging out with us now. We've got Sabrina watching from Central California where it's 50 degrees. Hannah's watching from Florida. Haven't seen you in a while, Hannah. Good to have you back. Same with you, Sabrina. Barbara's here. Steve and Dave, it's 54 degrees in sunny Missouri, but I am stuck at work in my no-window office. Well, we'll give you a window into the life of a mule and donkey here for a little bit. Here, I'll step out of the way. There's your window right there. We got you, Barbara.
Go. Perfect.
There you go. That was for you, Barbara. Yuta is watching from South Carolina. It's a rainy day here today. And let's see. Barbara's question is, Steve, how do you get your confidence back after a wreck? I need to work on my anxiety when getting in the saddle. That is a real question. Steve, you've had wrecks before, and I know you've had folks who have experienced them. What would you say for Barbara?
Start your groundwork, folks. Get out of the saddle. Look, we used to say, oh, it got bucked off. Get back in that saddle. Get back in that saddle. That's stupid. Do your groundwork. Start doing your groundwork and start building your confidence that way. Showing the mule that you want every move to be a picture. Do groundwork. Stay out of the saddle. You do your sursingle work as well. But that's the kind of thing you should be doing. And stay out of the saddle until you start building your confidence up. Yes, I've been there, done that. I've been bucked off pretty bad. Okay, I sure have been. And I'm paying for it today at 73 years old. I got some vertebrae out of place. And so, anyway, that's what I would do. Don't get in the saddle, folks. Saddle's not important. Okay, now, do you know why you got bucked off? Do you know what happened there?
That's a good question. Well, we're waiting to hear back from that. I got a question here from Betta Gold. This is Betta Gold watched, or Lacey, there we go. Lacey watched last week, or actually yesterday, left a comment, says, hey, Steve, Lacey from Iowa, it's about 20 degrees Fahrenheit today. Just wondering if you take working students. Also, what would be a good approach for starting with an untouched mule with no experience? So, unless Steve has something different going on, I know that Steve stopped taking apprentices and students other than at live clinics. And so, Lacey, the best place for that's going to be Montana right now. And then as new clinics are opened up, we'll let you know. But we usually do 1 to 3 clinics a year. This year, the first one we know about is going to be in Montana. Now, as far as what would be a good approach to starting with an untouched mule with no experience, Steve, I know we talked about this a little bit. Any other thoughts or insights? The first one was a Hinny, and she was talking about, who do I find to train? And you talked a little bit about training. Anything else you'd add there?
No, folks, the only place you can start is your come-along rope. That's where you start. It's full communication. But here, listen, it's what's important. When you put your hand on that rope, it's just as much teaching you as it is your mule. When you make a mistake, you can correct you, and then you can correct your mule. You're going to make mistakes. That's how I learned, all right? And still learn. So you're going to make mistakes. So stay out of the saddle, folks. You got an untouched green mule. In about 6 months, you might be able to ride that mule. But in the meantime, do your groundwork and be consistent. 4 to 6 hours a week is all the time you need.
All right, moving right along. Let's see. Pat is watching, says, pardon me, I have a question, and then goes forward making a whole bunch of nonsense. So let's see. Why did you just see? Let's see. There's some weirdness going on in the chat today. All right, here we go. Linda the Mule Servant, Theo the Sweet One-Eyed Mule in warm, damp Central Ohio. Linda is watching from Cumbie, Texas. Let's see here. Linda says, yeah, stupid. I got back in the saddle right away with a fractured pelvis. Wondered why the horse kept going around in circles after that. Says, nothing like the come-along rope to fix the dummy on the other end of the rope. Hello, this is Cassia. Hello from Australia. I'd like to hear your opinion, international, on mule bits versus hackamores. I've never ridden a horse in anything more than a snaffle, and I'd rather keep it simple when I start my mule. Well, you've come to the right place, Cassia. Steve, I'll put a link to, actually, Cassia, do this. Send me, I don't have it up yet, support@muleranch.com, and I'll get you a link to our bit program, bit webinar that we did. But Steve,
Where'd you go?
I'm still here. What would you say there to Cassia about opinion mule bit versus hackamore and always riding in a snaffle?
Yeah, well, here's the problem. A snaffle is not to be ridden every day. It's not, a snaffle is a tool to either fix a problem or to build a foundation. That's what it's for. It's too much pressure on a mule on the tongue all the time. They get tired of it, and they will grab that bit and take off running with it. So, and I also don't use a smooth snaffle bit. I've seen more mules brought to me with split tongues because of smooth snaffle bit. People are thinking they're being really nice because it is smooth, and all they're doing is creating problems. So start with your ground communication, and then go from there into sursingle work and using the bidding and this sort of thing. And you'll see I use a mule rider's martingale. I always start with the nose. So that's why I start with, that's how mules and donkeys learn the best, is using the nose. So that's why I tell you, come along, hitch. And then from there, rope halter. And in a 6-month time frame, you should be able to start seeing more results. But that's why I use the come along rope to build a foundation, stopping, backing, turning. Do I use a mechanical hackamore? Yes. Do I use a rawhide Bozalis? Yes. That is way down the training. Once I can ride 80% off my legs, then I will start using a Bozalis or a hackamore.
All right, great question. Next question, moving right along. Jack is watching from Johannesburg, Michigan, 35 degrees where it's drizzling. Butch says, when trailering across country, is it ever necessary to get the mule out of the trailer to walk around?
No. You're going to get yourself in a big trouble. I can tell you that I know of people not only have lost their mules because they got hit by a car, but they couldn't catch them for days on end to get them in a trailer. So no, they don't need to. These new trailers with these new systems, I have literally taken them from Arizona to Montana, and they stayed in there. I had the saddles on them as well. When we stopped at a hotel, we pulled the saddles off, put the saddles in the hotel, turned the mules loose, and which they're usually loose anyway. I don't tie them. And then I have the stalls that I put him in, and each mule's got his own stall where he can stop and get drink and water. He can still poop. He can still do his business all the way around, no problem. So I personally do not take him out of the trailer. There's too many problems you can have.
All right, moving right along. In our live stream last week, we had a video. Matter of fact, let me see if I can bring it back up here. Let's see. Oh, no, can't find it. We had a video that one of our friends had sent in, and it was a mule who was foundering, and you could see it was laying on the ground, and it was in
No, he
pain.
was
And so
colicky.
Marshall was watching. Says, "Poor mule. Something similar happened to my bay mule, and we did the Banamine with my vet's advice, but he only improved a little by the next morning. She came out and tested him for Lyme's disease, and that's what it was. We had to put him on 90 pills a day. I picked up the office and cured him. You just never know." So interesting comment there from Marcia watching on the replay.
So
Let's see
David, it
here.
wasn't founder. It was not founder.
Is it
Founder's
colic?
in the hooves.
Oh, sorry. What was it?
Uh, well, this right here, yeah, and wait a minute, no, with Matthew, no, it
Matthew,
was,
yeah.
yeah, no, what it was he was colicking.
Colicking. Okay, that
Yeah,
was my bad. I
yeah,
apologize.
yeah. It could have been colicking, or it could even be like I've talked about before. There are several other things it could be, and some of it's the lousy, dirty hay that we're feeding, but that's another story.
Yeah, so just so people have a reference, this was it right here. And since I got it playing, Steve, go ahead and tell us what's going on.
Well, notice how this mule has turning up his lip. He's basically saying, "I'm hurting." He's moving his mouth around. "I'm hurting." See, mules brace into pain, folks. That's why I tell you, "Oh, I'm doing okay with my bit." No, the mule's bracing into pain. "Oh, I'm doing okay with my saddle." No, your mule is bracing into the pain. "I'm doing all right with my 1 cinch." No, your mule is bracing. Now, here's this mule on his deathbed, and you see he's not moving much because they brace into pain, folks. This is what's really important. Y'all have to understand. That's why I say people they ride all day, don't give the mule a break, don't take the bit out of his mouth, don't lose the sense to do that stuff. Okay, be a sensitive to your mule and see what's going on. And Matthew's a new mule owner. I'm happy to say that now the mule is doing good. Matthew's been sending me pictures, and yes, Banamine is a good place to start. Can it mask some of the problems? Yes. That's why you have a veterinarian that can do blood tests, that can do hair analysis, and see what's going on. But folks, this right here is a mule dying. Okay. Did he end up dying? Nope. He's doing good because Matthew moved quickly.
All right. Continuing along here. Let's see. Barbara says, "I was thrown from a mare who was too much for me, and I sold her. I have my mule now and flew over her head after going downhill without a Britchen. She stopped and stood still, never will ride again without a Britchen. Both events resulted in expensive helicopter ride to the hospital." Talk a little bit about that Britchen, Steve. Folks think that you don't need to ride with a Britchen or that you need to ride with a crooper, and that's not true. Steve, talk to us a little bit about that and what Barbara's experience is telling us.
Well, here's Barbara. Is she got my saddle? She got the video and things like this, and it happens all the time. I think I'll just go for a short little ride without the breeching. Well, my saddle or not, folks, it's the way the donkey is built. It's the way the mule is built. It's the V shape to the shoulders compared to the A shape on a horse's. That's why the saddle went forward. So, folks, I have a video for these different things for a reason. Fortunately, Barbara come out okay, but it could have been very, very deadly. And she did have a helicopter ride out. Does she have to have a breeching? Yes. Folks, flat ground or not, it makes no difference. That saddle is going to go forward. No croupers. Croupers a good way to break a tail. It's designed for 6 to 8 pounds on harness. So here's Barbara. Fortunately, she got a helicopter ride out, and fortunately, the hospital knew what to do. Barbara, did you have a helmet on?
Yeah, that's a good question there. Let's see. Moving right along. James is watching. Mr. Jim is watching Western Maryland. 44 degrees and overcast. I'll tell you what, it had been overcast here the last couple of days. It's real sunny out. There's some clouds out there still today, but it's just been gorgeous. Over the last several weeks with a little bit of rain here and there, and it just makes everything pop up green after that. We love it. Oh,
Yeah,
hey, how did I, let's see, accidentally put that there on the
I
screen there.
see.
All right, let's see here. Eileen is watching from Nebraska, and Linda says Dave sent you an email just now. Steve, something I've been wondering over the last couple months. We've been talking about training a lot with the Sursingle, training during these winter months, training without a saddle. What kinds of conversations have you been having with folks just related to that here the last couple months? What have they been saying?
Oh, it's been awesome because they thought, well, they just really can't do much. Well, here's the good thing about it: it's cold, so you don't want to do much. So it ends up making you just do small things, which is good. People have been getting awesome results. They say the mule doesn't even have to move around once they put the surf signal on them and put the rope halter on. They drop their head, and just like you've seen in some other videos, these mules they side pass and turn on the forehand, and nobody's on them. All because you set them up with the halter and Sursingle work. And folks, it only takes just a few minutes. It's going to take you longer to walk from outside to the mule than what you're going to take to do that. Keep doing it. Keep using that Sursingle. Use it for just a few minutes at a time, and watch for the key thing, folks. Always the key thing. The mule drops his head, gets his nose on the vertical. That's when they have it. When they start doing that, that's when they've got whatever it is you're trying to show them.
All right, next question comes in from YouTube. Greetings from rainy Ventura, California, 68 degrees. My first mule in training with the come along rope is going extremely well. Thank you, Steve. Can you talk a bit about trailer loading, specifically when he enters the trailer and after a few seconds gets scared and wants to back out suddenly? What is your reaction to it? I don't want to bump or pull for fear he might bang his pole on the top rim of the trailer. What are your thoughts? What would you say there to our friend in Ventura?
Let him bang his head on the trailer, and let him make the mistake. You told him not to. And this is our timing, folks. Get this in your mind. It's your timing. Don't get in that trailer and start relaxing. Get your hand ready to bump the come along rope. It's your timing. If he looks to the right or to the left or flicks the ear back, fix it because he's thinking, I'm out of here. Okay? Now, once you go in and you're petting on him and he gets nice and quiet, as soon as he drops his head, take him out. As he drops his head, that means he's relaxed. Now, I don't care if you back him out. I don't care if you turn him around. There's no such thing as a proper way to take them out of a trailer because I've seen people hurt taking them out by turning them around in a trailer, and I've seen them backing them out. Backing them out, all of a sudden the mule gets scared, jumps back, jumps on top of the person. Turning them around, I've had people get stepped on inside the trailer, turn them around, and then all of a sudden jerk the rope out of their hand going out of the trailer. Big thing is, folks, is your timing. So if you don't have your timing squared away in a trailer, go outside and do it. Get your timing. Remember, they're to look straight ahead. They should not be going to the right, to the left, an ear go any way. They should only be focused straight ahead. That's the focus you want. If they look to the right a little bit, bumping. To the left a little bit, bumping. Head comes up, bumping. Okay? And don't worry about it. If he hits his head on a trailer, you think that's the first one I've ever seen? Hundreds of them. It's no big deal. They'll learn if they throw their head. Their head's going to hurt. Yeah. Let them make a mistake. You see, you're making tons of mistakes, but they don't completely know that. But let them make a mistake and hurt themselves. They did it, not you.
Next question comes from Calvin. Hey, Steve and Dave. Calvin from Tennessee. My daughter bought my retirement saddle from Steve, and Steve called me in the middle of the retirement party, so I don't think he won't call you. He will. Just letting everybody know. I have a big 16-hand mule, and I want to introduce him to cattle to rope off. What should I do to start him out? We got the 250 cows. He has never seen a cow, so how do I start with him to let me know? Thanks. That's the question. I never heard on here. That's a question I've never heard on here. He is a quarter mule. Thanks and let me know.
Okay, so the big thing with any type of training, you start small and work your way out. Now, here's the deal. You're using your training. So you're going to be using the mule rider's martingale so that you can collect the head and get him balanced. And that should have already been done with the sursingle work. Don't just go out there thinking, I'm going to work on cows. No, go out there thinking, I want to better be able to communicate with my mule to work on the cows. Okay? It's you, the rider, folks. It is not the mule going out there after them cows. Now, I can tell you that I had a really, really nice mule that had got sold. I sold her and to a lady, and that lady passed away of cancer. Another lady got her, and she was out riding and saw some cows, and she thought she'd go toward the cows, and she didn't know how to do it. And the cow turned, and the mule spun and took out. And she said, Steve, I thought you said he'd been around cows. I sent her pictures of her with a lot of cows all around her. I sent her pictures of me roping off of her. Yeah, guess what? It wasn't the rider. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Because the mule knows, and the mule will naturally go toward cattle. They're really good at it. So it's up to you. When I would start, I would make sure I got full communication. I got a nice backup. I could side pass. I could turn on the forehand. And then I would go out on the distance of the cattle. I would ride the outside edge. And then when I would turn in toward the cattle and do around the left-hand side. Okay? Don't just take one or two of them out. Get used to it. And big thing, and come back to it. This is important. It's you, the rider. Don't go blaming it on the mule. It's you, the rider. If you cannot communicate to that mule to side pass, turn on the forehand, turn on the hindquarters, don't even bother going out there because you do not have a mule well trained enough to work cattle. So, in a 10-foot circle, side pass, turn on the forehand, turn on the hindquarters on one hand. If you got to use two hands on a direct rein, that's okay. If you're training, there you go.
Next question. This one came in. This was a comment actually on YouTube, one of our videos a while back. Came in from a gentleman watching, says, I've never had to use a breast collar or a Britchen on my mule. Now, we've already talked a little bit about why you need to use a Britchen. Steve, where does this come from? What are your thoughts when someone says they never need to use a breast collar or a Britchen?
Okay. I'll just put it the way it is. You can't fix stupid. So many people do not want to admit they make a mistake. And I'm not going to argue with him. If you give me a few minutes, I can show him. And if he just get back and look, he can see the saddle sitting on top of the scapula. He can see that the front cinch is up underneath the front leg. And he thinks he's doing okay. No, he's not. But people like that, I don't even bother wasting my time with them because they don't want to listen, So it's impossible to ride without a breeching. It's impossible to ride without a breast collar on a mule or a donkey.
Well, what about on flat land? You're just going on flat land. It's not going to, that's different.
Well, it's the way a mule travels. They're very lateral when they're walking, and they're V-shaped in their shoulders. So that saddle wants to go forward. They carry their weight down low. Horses carry their weight up high. Mules are hourglass belly toward that shoulder. That's why that saddle goes forward. So this guy who says, I never would do it, you know what? Send me a picture. And I bet you I'm going to see that saddle on top of the scapula. And if so, you're crippling your mule and you don't care. It's a shame.
Yep. All right. Eileen says, snow on the way here in Nebraska. Kevin is watching. Chico, California. 3-week rain. Hey, Kevin, you know what? I got some friends who are from Chico, California. The Holmesley family. So it's good to hear from you there, Kevin. Gail is watching from drizzly 37 degree in Wisconsin. Lots of ice here and no sun for weeks. Hopefully that is in the past. We are speaking light into your life there, Gail. We want the light to break through. Merlin is watching. Merlin's everywhere, man. I think Merlin found Steve Edwards and is quickly jumping to the top of the Queen Valley Mule Ranch fan club. He is on YouTube. He is on our live streams. He is on Facebook. Merlin from Northwest Virginia, 11 degrees and cloudy. I'm late, but I made it. Linda says, so glad to hear that they're about no wrong way to unload. Got so much heck from horse people for letting my animal turn around to walk out of a loose trailer. Yeah, it's not you, Linda. It's them. Let's see. Linda says, can't fix stupid. That's funny. Bring it, Merlin. So Merlin and Linda are having fun. Steve, I did this. Marcia, I mentioned this last week. Marcia was watching one of our live streams on replay on YouTube and said something about, names for donkeys, names for mules. And so I thought this would be kind of fun. Folks, if you've got any questions, go ahead and put them in the comment section there. But I thought this would be pretty fun to go through here and look at some of the names and pictures folks have sent. I said, what's the best name you've ever heard for a mule or donkey? And for extra credit, did the name match the mule? And so Connie sent in a picture of this mini mule. His name is Teaspoon. It absolutely fits him. So there's a picture of Teaspoon right there. Had a draft cross brothers, George and Luther, 17-2. George was a character. Luther was just a grumpy old man. So there's George and Luther right there. Deb says, Libby, my mule. Bought her as a yearling. She is 33 years old this year. She is with me to the end. Best girl. So that's Libby. This one from Carrie says, look at that right there. That is a happy animal. Our first mule were a team of pony-sized mollies named Selma and Orvetta. I guess they were named after two old ladies from the little town nearby. Now we have this character whose name is Ghost. Look at Ghost right there. That is awesome right there. Ghost. This one is King Chester Sully, former name Cowboy. I only have him a month. Love him. Sully is his name for short. So that's fun. Janet, Hallelujah Harriet. Her dam's name was Glory Hallelujah. Her name fit her well. There you go. My husband's mule, Juniper. I think it fits her properly. There's Juniper right there. Wasn't that pretty fun, Steve? Seeing there was 150 folks who commented. You got Happy right here.
Really?
This one's Teeter. Darnell right here when he's ornery. Daryl otherwise. Onky is our donkey. That's fun.
Yeah.
Amos. So I thought that was pretty fun. Folks, I'll put a link to the entire thread there. Y'all can check it out. Do you remember any, your first mule was Casper, Steve, wasn't it?
Casper, yep. Casper, he was light gray and dark gray and white paint type mule. And we called him Casper, yep.
That's fun. Eileen's got a question. What if your mule seems in between having a higher hip but not too badly? Would your downhill hip pad work well? I guess another way to even word this is it's not a bad downhill hip. It's just a slight downhill hip. What would you say, Steve?
Well, what do you feel like when you're riding? Do you feel forward in the saddle? Do you feel like you're not staying in place? And if you're not staying centered, then yeah, you probably need the downhill hip pad to help balance you out.
That's a good test right there. I appreciate that.
I got a name for a mule.
Yeah?
Yeah, the Apostle Paul, he had a mule. Yeah.
All
yeah,
right.
The mule's name was Ismi.
Ismi,
yeah.
Ismi. I'm sure there's a story.
Well, now here, you see, the Apostle Paul was riding his mule on the way to Damascus. And on his way, he met a guy by the name of Jesus, knocked him clean off his mule, knocked him blind, matter of fact. And so that mule, people don't realize that mule had a name. And it's really important to know that name, Dave. And you're a theologian, you should know. But I'm going to tell you, his name is Ismi. And why do I know his name was Ismi? The Apostle Paul was always hollering at that mule, woe is me.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Steve Edwards. See him live June 2nd through 4th. Tickets now available. That's a good one. I
Hey, and
like that quite.
Cowboy Church there at Superior too, and we're going to hear some more cowboy theology.
It's going to, yeah, cowboy theology. And then the last night, it's going to be a dance party with DJ Donkey, Steve Edwards, DJ I think I got Steve liked that one there. All right. Steve thought that one was pretty good there. Hey, Steve, do you have the shirts nearby?
I don't. Oh yeah, I've got I've
Go
got
grab a
one.
shirt real quick. Go grab a shirt real quick.
Grab a shirt real quick.
Grab a shirt. I mean, not just any shirt. Grab the shirt, the ones that we're talking about here. Steve,
Right.
or folks, last week Steve debuted the shirt, and it took me a little while to figure out how to make sure shipping, or how to get the coupon and the discounts to work. But we got it, and the link to get your, well, Steve's going to bring it back. I'm going to put a link. Here is a link to the shirt, and so. Right there, it's basically $9 off each shirt. That includes shipping, and it's a limited time, no coupon code needed. It will, in the next little bit, it will go up. Did that not come through? Let me see here. He's coming back. Link to buy shirt.
Now this one is the donkey.
There you go. There you go, folks. Take a look. It's awesome.
Now I've got this one of the donkey. Now remember what I've been saying to you all? For a donkey, every day is different. That's what it is. Okay, now for a mule.
Over a little bit to your left. There you go, right there. To your right, just a little bit. There you go. Look at that, folks. Y'all could be sporting that. That could be on you.
Yeah, boy.
There you go.
From small up to 3X.
There you go, folks. Small up to 3X?
Yes.
Okay. All right, very good. So, folks, the link, I just put that in the comment section. Y'all go check that out. We disabled coupons on the website, and I couldn't figure out how to get it back on limited just to this product. So right now, the shirt is actually at the link. You can get it at the link, and it's quote-unquote on sale for a limited time, because here's the deal. Get the shirt, take a picture of you wearing the shirt, and send it in to us. That's the deal right there. That's the deal. We want to see the shirt. I mean, I guess you could get a triple XL and put it on your mule if you wanted to do that. Or donkey, I guess you could do that. But we want to see a picture, limited time here, and then we'll open it up to everybody else there. So yeah, get that and send it on in there. How about that, Steve?
How much they had to pay if they do that?
Yeah, $12.
Right. Yeah,
that's it.
That's right. Special price.
Special price.
Yeah, Dave. Last week, Roger Sebastian got a shirt and of a donkey, and I did. He was one that needed a triple X.
Oh, okay.
So I went ahead and had some triple X's made. Now, the other person though, I've not heard from him.
Okay. Do you remember who it was?
I don't remember.
I can't remember who it was. I can go back and I can look and see if I can. I'll go back and watch the replay and see who it was that won. But y'all go get those right now. It'll be a special. It'll be a special right now, just for a very short time. But the deal is, you know about this now. So if you're going to take us up on it, you gotta send us picture in return of you wearing the shirt or your animal, and we'll put it up on the website so folks can see. And we're trying to build a mule and donkey community here because it's just so much more fun to do this stuff together. Ain't that right, Steve?
Yep.
Very good. All right. Well, that's all that we've got for today. We got through all the questions. Steve, anything else you want to say before we're done?
No, I think we're in good shape for the shape we're in. We've got that new saddle, that Buckaroo.
The Buckaroo, it's on the website now. I'll get the link for folks right now.
Yeah, and that's sure. And remember now, folks, and I was trying to read through that, Dave. Maybe you can help me see it. But I designed this saddle especially for guys because it's an unpadded Cordura and leather combination. So guys have a hard time in a padded seat. it makes them feel kind of forward in the saddle. So I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I designed it. It looks like the cowboy, but it was 10 pounds less. But anyway, that is. So I guess if we got all the questions answered, we'll visit with people in the future.
We do. Now, folks, remember, Mule Ranch, I just put a link for the Buckaroo Saddle. Y'all go check that out there. Folks love the lightness of these saddles. And you've got 3 incredibly light saddles to choose from. They're all light, comparatively speaking. But you've got the Trail Light saddle, which is the one Steve rides. You've got the Extreme Ultralight saddle, which is all leather, and it's really a nice looking saddle. All of them are, but this one is got some additional things with the leather that makes it more of a looker. And then now you have the Buckaroo Light saddle, which is made specifically for the guys. So let's go there, check it out. And I'm having trouble getting my links to post. Let me put it one Buckaroo Saddle. Put one more time there. Hopefully that'll go through. That's it, folks. Thanks for hanging out with us. Montana, June 2nd through the 4th. Be sure to get your tickets as soon as you can. Participant spots, especially when we announce this early, they typically will sell out, so we don't want you to be out in the cold with your hat in your hand. Go ahead, get that taken care of. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to us. You can call Steve, 602-999-6853. That's 602-999-MULE. Or you can send a message to support@muleranch.com, and we'll be sure to get you exactly what you need. That's it. Take care.